I did an unboxing of this watch like 2 weeks ago, something like that. This is a Vostok Amphibia. It's a Russian watch. And when I did the unboxing, it wasn't good. It wasn't very good. I had a lot of issues with it. The bezel didn't turn. I mean, I got it to turn, but it kept jamming up on me. And there was some staining on the crystal. And that just bummed me out, right? So it was only 130 bucks shipped. It only took about 2 weeks to get here from Ukraine. I thought that was neat. But I have been wearing it. I've already dinged it up quite a bit in the shop. This is a great watch. It's a great beater watch. You could beat on it. It doesn't matter. And right after I did the unboxing, I wore it, and then I brought it to the watch shop that I go to. You guys know about Majestic WJ, right? Mike over there at Majestic Watches over on Larchmont Boulevard here in Los Angeles. I went in there, and I showed it to him. He took it, walked in the back room. He's got a little mini buffer sitting there with a buffing wheel with the correct rouge, I suppose, specifically for polishing crystals. He put a little on there. Less than 40 seconds, it looked like brand new again. Then I took it home, and I popped the bezel. I did a short on it, and in the short, I used a little gun butter, which is it's this lubricant I recently got turned on to for firearms. A buddy of mine's a retired special ops guy, and he told me about it because, well, that's a whole other conversation we don't need to get into right now. But it works great. And I just decided to put 2 little tiny drops in there and work it around. Worked wonders. It works now. So let's go ahead and give you a couple close-ups of this. There's some close-up shots to tell you why I like it and talk about it real quick. And then we'll get this out of the way. Then I can get back to work on this table here that I'm working on. I got to do a bunch of butterfly mortises and some patches on some of the voids in this tabletop. So don't go anywhere. It's going to get good. Before we get too crazy, here it is. I mean, this is on a 7 3/4 inch wrist with the band it comes on. This is a NATO style band. You'll notice what I did here. You know, all these bands that have that pass through, that under part, they've got these security buckles, and this is the way you want to run that here. What that does is it puts the stress when you tighten the band on your wrist on the buckle and not on the spring bar of the watch. A lot of people don't know that. Now you know. So again, I just figured I'd show this to you on the wrist. Okay, we're just gonna pop this off right quick here. Take a good look at this. One of the things I love about this thing is just this classic design. The dial on this watch looks like something right out of the 1950s. Real simple. I love the top hat, you know, sapphire style, you know, crystal on this thing. I love the distortion when you look at it from the side. I've already got a little mark on this, on the edge here, but again, I can buff that out, no problem. Other details I like, you know, on this dial is just, I mean, of course, it's all in Cyrillic, so I can't read it. But I love how the script above the 6 o'clock is a semicircle. It kind of follows the pattern of a circle on a watch. I wish we'd see more of that from watchmakers. I think you see that on an old Rolex. It's got 31 jewels. There's nothing fancy. I mean, the hands are not, you know, super nice. The lume on this isn't fantastic. I really, really do like the blue second hand, and that pip is lumed. You see the cup, the little mark I put right here on the edge of the bezel, or excuse me, on the edge of the crystal there. It appears to be a ceramic bezel insert. The pip is lumed. It's bi-directional, so I can move it in both directions. It's just friction. Every once in a while, I guess it hits a spot where it gets a little jammed up when you're turning it. And all you gotta do is take your fingernail, stick it in the little edge here, and you can get it to get past that, and it turns real easy. So I don't mess with this. I mean, I've timed a few things, you know, my laundry, things like that. But it doesn't move once you set it. It's not like it's super easy to move, being bi-directional. It's giving me a hard time. When it's on the wrist, it's a little easier for some reason. But really, this is not difficult at all. You know what it is? It's polished. So it's slippery. That's the only thing. These little ridges on here, there's really not a lot of purchase there on grip. So that's what the problem is with me trying to turn that thing. Large, easily manipulated crown here. Very nice. The thing about this watch is if you're wearing it, you never need to touch it because this thing keeps accurate time. And it does not have a day-date feature. So there's no need to screw with the crown unless you haven't worn it and you just need to set the time. Keep in mind my little thing, I've pointed this out before. A lot of people pick up an automatic watch and they do this to get it going. My thing is to take it and just do a quick flip like this. Little thing with the wrist here. And you can feel that rotor spin. And I have to tell you, even compared to a Seiko, this thing, that rotor spins flawlessly. I'm actually very amazed by it. Of course, Seikos spin nice too, but I can feel something in the Seiko. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It's just odd that this one feels nicer than all the Seikos that I own. Again, this, well, let's go to the strap right quick before we get to the back here. You can see what I did here. In case you can't figure this out, I'll undo it for you. Now, there's a lot of misconception on the internet. I'm going to clear it up right now. A Zulu strap has nothing to do with the buckles. It has to do with the fact that it doesn't have this extra piece of material underneath. All right. This is what you'd call a NATO strap. We're calling this a NATO style strap because some clown bought the term NATO strap and now nobody else is allowed to use the term and he goes around suing people. So this would be a NATO style strap because it has this extra piece of material here. All right. You don't need this piece at all. As a matter of fact, I've cut this off on a lot of bands and I wear a lot of watches like this without it at all. I made all my leather versions I made like this, which again is called a Zulu style strap. So the idea here is most people will take this and they'll stick it through here and they're done. This watch keeps changing focus, I apologize. And that's fine, but the thing is when you have it like this and if you shake your wrist around, these two things can hit each other and they make a little bit of a noise. So the way you're supposed to do this is just come on in here, come between these two buckles, pull that back through, and now I can put it on my wrist and all the stress from pulling here is locked down by these two buckles. And now there's no more stress on the spring bar. It's just safer to wear that way. Let me put this thing out in the sun for you and see if I can find a dark corner in the shop. It's pretty bright out today. I can't really find a perfectly dark spot unless I, lock myself in a closet somewhere. The indices are all printed, as you can see. I think it's neat. I think it's a guilt-free purchase. Just know that if you decide to get this, you're at least going to have to pop the bezel off, probably clean that thing out. And all that is a little blade you can stick right in here, crank it like this, it pops right off. It's the easiest thing in the world to take off and put back on. No problems. Oh, I forgot to show this. I mentioned this in the last video, but I'll point it out here in case you missed that. It's a two-piece bezel. Excuse me, I said bezel, I meant screw-in back. So this is the way the original Blancpain 50 Fathoms works. So there's that outer ring that has those machined kind of marks. That's where you can put your tool to unscrew it. And this center piece here has a flange, and then between that piece and the watch is a rubber gasket. So this sits on top of that. This piece then goes over it, and you tighten that down, and it pulls this tight up against the rubber. That's an idea Blancpain came up with to make their watches waterproof. So this is still using that old technology that still works. And that's going to be it for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this. you know what? Let me try to get a little bit of Lume. Hang on. And there we are. I mean, it's not super dark here, but you can see the Lume on this. I set that out in the sun for about 30 or 40 seconds. It looks a lot better here on the screen than it actually does when you're looking at it. That's it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a great day. Be kind to one another. I'll catch you in the next one.